back here. I'm with Tom Olson. And, Tom, you've been, first of all, a former alumni here and played on this court.
95.
In 95.
30 years ago.
And now you're back and you're helping these seniors and giving back to your Hammond Baptist High School, man. I'm very thankful for the investment that you chose and the contributions that you've made, not only to HBTV, but also to the seniors. And so can you talk a little bit about what you've been doing the last couple of years and the opportunity that people watching have to get involved this year?
Absolutely. So we haven't really offered this up publicly over the last 3 or 4 years, but I'm excited this year to try to offer it up to a little bit more people. It's kind of been like kind of close and just like the people I know. And I've honestly, like every time I go around and speak around the country at real estate conferences, you know, I mention this, and I've just kind of had an easy way of just, you know, being able to raise money. This year's been a little bit more difficult, I'm going to be honest, and we really do need help with this year. In addition to that, like it seems like every year we've tried to raise that level.
Yeah.
So like the first year I think we raised like $12,000 or $15,000. The second year was about $20,000, and it was like $22,000 or $23,000 last year. And we're really trying to raise $30,000 this year, and $5,000 of that will go to the missionary, which I kind of have felt bad for the missionary every year. So what we're talking about is senior trip. So senior trip for the last 3 years, we have done a senior missions trip, and I kind of pause after senior on purpose because you know it's a senior trip and it's also a missions trip.
Yeah.
So senior trip, as in like they get to go to a place that they never would get to go to in the United States. It's going to be like a dream vacation, and they're probably going to compare the rest of their vacations to their senior trip, right? I mean, how many people can say, I went to Costa Rica, I went to Ecuador, I went to Belize. This year we're going to Guatemala. So there's that part of it, the fun part. So they normally do some really fun things that you can only do in a different country like that.
Yeah, cycle through some of those pictures, Ryan, if you would.
I mean, so if you want to see some of the pictures that we have right here, this is last year in Ecuador. This was actually a little bit of a dangerous area, I'll be honest with you. A little sketchy, I'm not going to lie. But, hey, we
did come back with all of our
seniors. I'll be honest with you. I think we had 150 to 200 people saved on this day.
Wow.
This is actually a little bit of a fun time. We went to go see like a church that was like 400 years old.
Oh, cool.
It was covered in gold, plated, the whole entire inside of the church. That was really cool. We also went ziplining here, and it's so cool. We actually went ziplining. It's called the Cloud Forest and the Cloud Mountains. And they call it that because you're literally in the clouds. You are that high altitude because you are in the clouds the entire time.
We had to pull that video in. This video went crazy.
You got it.
It's a mission trip. This is senior trip.
Video
here,
here
we're turning sideways.
It's sideways a little bit. It's okay, though. Hey, I posted this on my Facebook and on my Instagram, and I got over 100 million views. It's crazy that's on my Facebook and
but the
and
seniors,
Instagram.
The seniors got
they
to
got
experience
to do, and this is just one. They did 10 lines almost exactly like this.
Oh, wow.
Over a half a mile long, about a half a mile up in the air, going over a ravine.
This
was
just keeps going and going.
Ridiculous. I'll tell you, I've been ziplining about, 30 times.
My neck is hurting from trying to watch
this. Takes the cake. I mean, the only thing that's even close is I went ziplining in South Dakota, and we went over a huge ravine on a sunny day, and we could see Mount Rushmore off to the side.
Cool.
Other than that, nothing else is even close.
Yeah. So
not
only missions, although you see some here.
Exactly, and it's really cool. We normally
like
to get like the seniors involved, so they go out for a day. They bring people in. They normally give gifts. And then we normally will have seniors, senior guys, give their testimony, and preach, and try to have see souls saved while we're there. But I think one of the most important parts for me is for the kids to see the way the rest of the world lives, for them to actually interact with them, for them to give them like a gift of something like a basketball or a soccer ball, and for these kids to be like forever thankful and grateful. They would just come up to you, and just for like a little tiny, we call it a loaf of bread, but it's like a little roll. And most people will tell you that's the best meal they're going to get the entire week. So it's really amazing. You can see this right here. These are people live right there. If you're watching the broadcast right now, people are living in those huts that you see to the left, and that is the normal. This is what we don't understand here in America. We're so spoiled that we don't understand that this is how the majority of the world lives. More than 60% of the world lives in these types of circumstances. So I love the fact that our kids get to see that. I also love the fact that our kids get to understand, hey, the Bible says, go ye into all the world and preach the gospel. They understand, well, what does that connection look like? If I were to be a missionary, how can I go out and, like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
And I think we've seen kids be called.
Yeah.
We also, I think it's easy now for the kids to understand how to pray for them.
Yeah.
And they're connected to somebody. So to me, when I ever go on a mission trip, there's 4 things I see. Number 1, laborers. Number 2, money. Number 3, prayers. And number 4, connection, community. So we talked about this in the other broadcast.
Yeah.
So in Belize, like we've been able to actually create a community, so to speak, with Brother Alvarez.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure so many times the missionary feels like they're almost on an island.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah.
Like you, especially the women. Especially the women. The men, sometimes us men are all like gung-ho, we want to go. But the wives, the kids, like they really need that community. And those are the 4 things I think kids get out of this. So if you're interested in something like this, if this might perk your interest or something that might interest you in maybe giving towards, we do still need to raise about $13,000. I had 2 people contact me from this morning.
Awesome.
I didn't give a way to be able to contact me, so I don't know if there's a way to contact Brother John or tell us here at the school. But I'd like to be able to make sure that the match happens. We have $5,000 worth of match on the table. $1,200 of that got taken this morning.
Wow.
So we still have $3,800 worth of a match to be able to hit. We're trying to hit $30,000. Before this morning, we had about $16,000 of that raise. I'm not sure exactly where we're at now, but you get the picture. We really need to raise about $12,000, $13,000, honestly, in the next month. So if this doesn't work for you today, maybe you could do something in the next month. I really greatly appreciate it. I know the kids would, and I think it'll be for the glory of God.
Yeah. And Brother Tom, we never really asked for anything here on HBTV, and so this is rare for us to put a way for someone to contribute. And maybe it's not you that's watching. Maybe you have a connection or someone that might be interested in sponsoring something like this, and send them this link, screenshot this, go to that QR code. There's a way to give there.
If you want to reshare that as well, if somebody wants to go back and copy that, throw that on your Facebook, Instagram, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that I'd appreciate it for sure. And I know the kids would be grateful for eternity. I promise you, this is a life-changing event for them.
Yeah, 100%. Brother Tom, thank you so much for all that you've done already, and we'll continue to do. And thanks for joining us here on HBTV.
Go HB.